Let's step into quite an interesting topic, and we call it sleep. Okay. Now, people think sleep is only for lazy people. And if you sleep too long, you are considered to be, God knows what. I mean, they'll have a whole lot of things to say to you about that. But anyway, sleep is something that you should not deprive yourself of. Now, when you sleep, what really happens? It actually first allows your brain and your body to get into a recovery mode. Yeah, that's right. Don't you ever know that when you build a house and you put cement, or you put the concrete, they call it a curing time. They say, just keep splashing water and you just, don't disturb it, right? They call it the curing time. I mean, there are a lot of things that you see, everything, even for a fruit to ripen, it takes time. So there are certain periods of rest that are built into our entire environment. Okay. And we see it every day. The same thing your body needs. Okay. And if you don't get enough sleep, you're going to deprive yourself, and it's going to affect your concentration. It's going to affect your energy, going to affect your mood. Just think about, you sleep only for 2 hours and you have to get up and rush for a meeting. You think you're going to be patient? No way. You're just going to snap. You're going to bark. Maybe just going to doze off. Your energy levels are going to be bad. Okay. But there's a little more to sleep, and let's understand a little more about the stages of sleep. Okay. Now, there are a couple of stages your body goes through. You just suddenly just don't fall asleep. You go through a whole stage. So stage one is a short, you're just about dozing off. It's a transition that happens. Stage two is, it's deeper. The body and the mind start to slow down, so the stage one lasts a few minutes, and then you start to get into the sleeping portion of it. Your stage two, you're slowly getting into, your body and your mind starts to relax, calm down, and you're now again going to transition. You're going to get deeper into the next stage three. Okay, now this is a rather deep sleep. Okay, and the brain activity is kind of almost at its lowest. Okay, in the entire sleep cycle at stage three is when your brain activity is really slowed down. And what does that slow down actually mean? It means it doesn't process so much of external stimuli. Okay, you'll find that when you're awake, even if you drop a pin, you'll be able to hear it and you might react. You'll just look around and say, hey, I heard something. But when you're fast asleep, these small minimal annoyances will not affect you. Okay, the body seems to learn, and it doesn't always require the brain to do a lot of processing. So if, let's say, maybe a glass falls and breaks while you're in the middle of that sleep, yeah, you might get up. But for small stimuli, the body won't react. I'm sure you would have noticed that, right? So you're not easily awakened at this stage. And then you move into what we'd like to call the stage four, or what they call REM sleep. Now, is it a deep sleep? Now, that's a kind of a question that everyone seems to ask, but it does come at a later stage. It comes towards the second half of your sleeping period. Okay. Now, the REM sleep, as the word REM means, is rapid eye movement. So what happens is, actually at this stage, if you look at somebody who's actually in an REM, their eyeballs will be moving rapidly, all around. And that's when they're in the rapid eye movement. Okay. Because this is a part where you're actually you're dreaming. Now, I wouldn't want to be quoted, but I'd like to say that the REM sleep, or the dream that you get, which sometimes will be kind of very strange kind of a dream. It won't follow any laws of physics sometimes. And, a lot of things will happen. But I believe this is the stage where the brain is reordering and taking the events of the day, what it has learned, what it has absorbed, and the things that it doesn't need, and kind of discarding it. So it's processing all that information and saying, okay, this was vital for me, and this is something that, and probably puts it into a better storage area, because there's always the short-term memory, and then some of these things have to be moved into long-term memory. We don't know. So my theory is that a lot of things that have happened during the day actually get processed in this dream. Okay. So muscles are usually paralyzed in this stage. I mean, you really are, you're really stiff in that. Not stiff, I mean, your posture will be more or less fixed. Okay. And, the reason why this happens is because if your dream is so real, and let's say you're running or you're punching or you're fighting or playing a game of tennis. Now, if the brain starts to realize that this is real, then your body will also start to move, and you'll be playing, table tennis, and you'll be doing boxing in the middle of the night. Okay. So to prevent that from happening, it's a very beautiful thing nature does, is it just shuts down your muscles and says, okay, there's a little short circuit here. I know you're dreaming. It's not real. Don't worry about it. Just don't react. So the autonomic nervous system doesn't, start barking and do funny things. Okay. I can imagine you watching some kung fu movie and then suddenly you start, yeah. Okay. That'd be funny, right? Okay. So now let me just move to I just lost my chain of thought here. So let's see. Okay. What else happens? Right. Now, breathing is at its slowest in stage 3. The heart rate is also slow at stage 3. So you can say stage 3 is kind of where everything seems to come to almost like a standstill. Okay. But when you get into the REM sleep at stage 4, the breathing and the heart rate go back up to almost like when you are awake. Why? Because the body is actually experiencing a dream, and that dream can be very, very real. And the the brain, the mind rather, can't make out the difference between reality and and whether it's virtual or whether it's a dream. So it actually goes up, and it's important because even if you have maybe a serious brain concussion, or maybe there's something that's happened to your brain, some of these bodily functions still need to be there. So breathing and the heart is something that always has to be active for you to really be alive. So I guess biologically and through our evolution, these are kind of some fail-safe mechanisms. So even if you're in a state of extreme sleep and you're having the REM sleep, it's going to wake you. You're going to be as good as you're awake in terms of your breathing and your heart rate. I think we all got that. Okay. And just remember that your muscles are really relaxed and they're almost paralyzed at stage 4. Now, it's really important to get this REM sleep because this is the only time your body will get a real relaxation. Okay. Your muscles are actually gone down to its deepest moment. Now, there's sometimes what happens is between your stage 2 and stage 3 and stage 3 and stage 4, but usually between stage 2 and stage 3, when your body is starting to suddenly relax, a lot of us have this dream that we're falling. I'm sure you would have actually experienced this. You're just falling from the sky and you feel like you're falling. It happens sometimes. Now, the reason why you have this falling dream is because the muscles have suddenly relaxed. And guess what? When you fall from a height, you have the same kind of experience. Your muscles kind of contract. And that's the reason why the brain interprets it and thinks that you're falling. And suddenly get up. Oh, I thought I was falling. Okay, so nothing to get worried about. This is a very natural thing. It happens to a lot of people. And it usually happens when you've had a really tough and a really hard day. Okay, and suddenly your body's gone into relaxation. Okay, so the next time this happens to you, just remember this. That is just a very natural thing. And it's because the muscles are just contracted so quickly that you feel you're on a free fall. Okay. Now, even though there is a lot of talk about your brain going to a rest period, but there are always spiking activities. So the brain does dart around in all the stages, stage 1, stage 2, and stage, up to stage 4. There is always going to be the spike in brain activity. Okay. But the brain activity varies at stage 3 and it varies at stage 4. There's a different pattern of activity that happens in the brain. And of this, it's a science that people are studying more and trying to understand what exactly are these, these activities and what do they indicate. Now, people thought that dreams only happen at stage 4, but that's not true. You can dream right from stage 1. I'm sure, when you're in the stage 1, you just dozed off the bed, you might be thinking about probably something that happened in the day, and then your mind wanders off. Okay. And then you're in stage 2, and before you know it, you don't even know you're awake. Okay. You're back to sleep. So dreaming does happen in all stages. Intensity might be different, but there's always something happening with the brain at that point of time. Not always, but there are spikes and there are peaks. Okay. Now, a lot of things do happen, and important things as far as the hormone levels are concerned. Now, melatonin is something that will start to increase because that's the one that helps you get into the sleep mode. And a lot of melatonin is kind of generated at that point of time. I don't know if people really have melatonin deficiencies, but sometimes people take melatonin supplements just to induce sleep. Okay. Now, while a lot of studies have said that, sleep medication or things like this will put you into non-REM sleep. It will not really put you into an REM sleep. Okay. And that's not really a good thing. Okay. And I'll come to that just as we go ahead. Now, it even controls the growth hormone at this point in time. Certain things, your bones and a lot of things that need repair, a growth hormone is released at this time. And whatever the body needs to repair, it starts to repair. So it's important to get sleep. Okay. And cortisol. Okay. Remember that cortisol is something that can actually cause a lot of problems if you have it in excess. Okay. Causes inflammation. And once you get inflammation, there's a whole lot of chemistry that happens in the body, which is not good for you. Okay. So get sleep, so you can reduce your cortisol levels. It reduces your stress. Okay. And of course, there are, other hormones like for digestion, which are called leptin and ghrelin. Okay. And obviously, it's not good to sleep immediately after you had a meal because, if these hormones are floating around, the body will start to reduce the release of these hormones, and then your digestion will take a lot longer, and your body will be busy digesting food rather than repairing itself. So as a rule, try to eat 2.5 hours before you sleep, or at least 2 hours. If you can't manage that, okay. If somebody dozes off at 10 p.m., make sure you wrapped up your dinner and all your midnight snacks and everything that you want to do, by 8 p.m., for example. So give that kind of 2-hour gap at least so that your body is not in its sleep time when it should be doing repair and reducing your stress. You put your body in some kind of backlog mode. That's not going to be good for you. Okay. Whoops. So if you don't get, now they say as a standard, you need to get 3 rapid eye movements when you're sleeping. So you will oscillate between stage 3 and stage 4, and sometimes even stage 2, because sometimes you'll get up a little bit in between and then you'll doze off. So between stage 2, 3, and 4, you'll be oscillating, but you'll always come back to the REM state. And you need 3 REMs. Now, if you don't get these 3 REMs, they say that you will not be fully rested. Okay. You would have slept long, but you will not feel like you've slept. Okay. So the 3 REMs are important. And trust me, you need at least, 7, 8 hours of sleep every day. It doesn't matter. Don't think you're a hero if I can sleep 6 hours and I'm really, no, I'm sorry, that doesn't work. You definitely need around 8 hours of sleep. And kids, teenagers especially, they need a lot more. Okay. And if you think, oh, my son's a lazy son of a gun and he's not getting up and he's been sleeping the 10 hours, it's actually the body needs it. Okay. Now, if you sleep too long, sometimes people just say, I'm just want to laze in bed. And sometimes they laze in bed and, 12 hours, sometimes 14 hours, you just don't want to get up. Now, I've done that before. I've been there and I said, oh, I just want to relax. And, you still feel sleepy. When you sleep too much, then you'll feel lethargic even after you get up. You just feel, body will be paining, and then you just feel odd, you get a little bit cramp here. So yeah, it's okay once in a while to sleep a little longer, but don't just laze in bed for too long, because then you won't have the energy for the rest of the day. It just it kind of works against you. But that doesn't mean you can do this math. You know what I call about math about sleeping? 5 days I slept only 4 hours. So that means I need 4, and if I need 20 hours, so the 6th day I'll sleep 20 hours. Sorry, doesn't work. You miss the sleep, you have lost it forever. It's as simple as that. You cannot regain the sleep that you have lost. Okay. And so that's why it's really important. You can't make up. This is not like a bank balance where you can just take a little bit out and put a little back in. It doesn't work that way. You need those 8 hours every day. So take it seriously. And yes, it does call for rescheduling. It does call for taking a little more inspection on your life and saying, where am I? What's really eating me and I can't get my sleep? What's really troubling me and why I'm not able to do this? So, your focus should be on getting those 8 hours. It's really, really important. Okay. If you don't get that 8 hours of sleep, the body won't repair itself. It needs the time. It needs the trigger. There's a whole series of hormones and chemical messengers and extraction, and a whole lot of things are happening. It doesn't happen in 10 minutes. There's a whole process. Okay. It's like an oil refinery. When they take crude oil and they try to make petrol and diesel and whatnot, you can't just stop the reactor. It takes days to shut it down. You can't just shut it down in 5 minutes, say stop everything. No, once the process is started, it takes so much of time. Okay. So the body won't repair itself because it's in its due process. Okay. Another thing is that your entire day, the brain is thinking, it's reacting, a lot of toxins get released because there's a lot of chemical reaction happening in the brain too, and that toxin is accumulating. And sleep is the time when the body actually takes those toxins out. So, the onslaught of dementia, you're getting, not dementia, getting old a little too fast can happen because you've not got enough sleep in your youth. And not in your youth, even right now. Just think about it. Have you ever wondered how many hours you sleep? Well, you better take account. You better audit yourself and find out, am I actually getting those 8 hours? Maybe I'm sleeping 5 hours, and then take a note of how your day is, and then try one day to get that, that good 8 hours of sleep, and compare the quality of the day the next day you get up. Maybe that's something which will motivate you to actually take this a little more seriously. But as I said, sleep is not something to be ignored. And sleep doesn't mean you're lazy. So get the required amount of sleep, and surely there'll be a lot better days and better life for you as you go ahead. So thanks, and I will see you in the next video. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do that, because a lot of interesting videos like this are there. And if you like them, then you can comment, you can ask me about putting up more videos. But for the Inner Circle members, thank you very much. And I hope you enjoyed this topic, and I'll see you again.